If you're watching this video, you're about to get really rich, or at least that's the opportunity that you'll be presented with. If you watch my videos, then this means that you're interested in becoming wealthy or rich, and luckily for you, you're around at just about the right time because there is a $70 trillion opportunity coming up, and I'm not making this stuff up. Millennials are about to inherit 70 trillion worth of assets over the next 10 years, and even if you don't have rich parents, stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to talk about how you can position yourself so that you can actually take part in this wealth transfer. And this is where you're going to be getting the opportunity of a lifetime to make a lot of money. Now, if this is your first time seeing me or coming across this channel, my name is Ian. And on this channel, I talk about ways to make money, ways to save money and invest your money. I talk about bank accounts, credit cards, and just about everything to do with personal finance. So if you like these videos and you like these types of topics, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. It's 100% free, won't cost you anything. Also, be sure to subscribe with the notifications on, and that way you never miss any of the future updates of when I post new videos on this channel. Also, if you guys ever want to talk to me one-on-one, you can message me on Instagram. The link is down below in the description. And with that said, let's jump into the greatest wealth transfer in history. Now, the first thing I want to do is look at the distribution of wealth today. So baby boomers own most of the businesses, most of real estate, and they own the majority of stocks. Now, what makes this even worse for you is that most likely, if you're watching this video, you're a millennial, and millennials are suffering because of lower wages, higher cost of living, and because of this, more millennials than boomers in their time are now living paycheck to paycheck, just barely getting by. Millennials are not buying houses, they're not investing their money, they're not having children, and overall, they're not progressing along in life as boomers did previously. And this is why this incoming wealth transfer is going to be a huge deal, especially for us millennials. Now, for the next 10 to 20 years, and this is predicted or projected to end in around 2042, there's going to be a $70 trillion transfer of wealth from baby boomers to millennials. The first thing that's going to happen is that people that have super rich families, whether they're rich right now or they're not, they're about to get super wealthy because they're going to be inheriting a lot of cash, a lot of real estate, a lot of businesses, a lot of stocks, gold, and possibly even crypto if their parents and grandparents were just cool enough to be investing in cryptocurrency. Now, this in turn will make millennials the richest generation ever. Now, I know you're probably thinking, you're saying, Ian, well, how does this help me? Because I'm not a trust fund baby and I don't have rich parents. My grandparents don't have millions or billions of dollars. So how is this wealth transfer actually going to help me? And this is how you're actually going to still massively benefit from this great wealth transfer, even if you don't have rich parents or rich grandparents. So whenever there's a huge wealth transfer such as this one, it comes with a lot of opportunities for both investors and entrepreneurs. And the good thing and the bad thing here is that most millennials do not know how to properly manage their finances. And this is why a lot of these people are living paycheck to paycheck. And they're also struggling with debt. And because of this, a lot of people are going to be inheriting a lot of assets and a lot of cash. And these people are not used to having this good deal of wealth. And you know, they have this thing, it's an old thing, it says, or it goes something like easy come, easy go. Well, because these people just aren't good with money, they're gonna be spending a lot of their newly inherited wealth. So all you need to do right now is to start preparing to position yourself so that when these people or when this wealth transfer happens, if you're not directly impacted by not receiving a transfer of wealth from your parents or your grandparents, you wanna be able to see what millennials are spending their money on, and then you can get into those businesses and make a lot of money. Now, if you don't believe me, we can look at some statistics. Over half of professional football players end up going bankrupt, although these guys earn millions of dollars every single year. If we look at NBA players, also more than half of these players go broke within just 5 years of retiring. And again, these athletes, they all make millions and millions of dollars every single year. And in fact, if they were to put aside just a small percentage of their earnings every single year, they could live comfortably for the rest of their lives without ever having to work again. And even if they were just to invest a small amount of this income, they would have hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in every single month for the rest of their lives. So the lesson here is that millennials just aren't good with managing money. And if you're watching this channel, then kudos to you because you're just a small percentage of people that are actually interested in personal finances and actually managing their money. For the majority of the population of millennials, they're more interested in spending and flexing flexing and actually pretending like they're rich while they're actually broke. Again, the main point here goes back to that old saying, easy come, easy go. If you are just bad with your finances, if you don't know how to manage money very well, then it doesn't matter how much money you get. You will lose everything if you do not know how to manage money, and sadly, a lot of millennials are going to be inheriting a lot of wealth in this great wealth transfer, and sad to say, for them, they don't know how to manage money correctly. They also have no interest in learning, and this is why this wealth that they're going to inherit is going to be slipping away from them, and it's going to be transferred to other people like you, for example, who are prepared and setting yourself up right now for these opportunities. Again, if you don't believe me, over 70% of rich families lose their wealth by the second generation, meaning that the first generation are millionaires, are the people who actually worked for this wealth, and then by the second generation, when this wealth is transferred, because the second generation didn't actually work for it and it's easy come, they really don't know how to manage money like the 1%, and so they end up losing the wealth. I mean, think about this, right? If you're watching this channel and you're interested in making money and finances, then chances are if you were to stumble across, let's say, $10 million tomorrow, you'd be happy and you'd probably take that money, and the first thing that would come to your mind would be to go and invest that money somehow. So you'd probably go and purchase an investment property or pay off some debt or use that money to fund the business that you've been thinking about all along, or you'd acquire some form of asset or invest this money somehow, and that way you'd actually be benefiting from this money that you ran into. Unfortunately, the average millennial doesn't think like this, and once they get a huge sum of money or any assets or any amount of wealth, they're going to take it and they're going to use it for flexing. So you'll find them buying ice, they're going to buy all this jewelry, they're going to buy all these clothes, they're going to buy gadgets, they're going to buy the latest cars, they're going to be popping bottles in the club for everyone, they're going to go and do world tours, traveling from country to country. And while nothing is particularly wrong with any of these things, the point is that investing to increase their wealth or to maintain their wealth is going to be the last thing on their minds, and this is why you are going to be here to take advantage of this once in a lifetime opportunity. Now, I just mentioned that over 70% of rich families lose all the wealth by the second generation, and guess what? 90% of rich people or rich families lose the fortune by the third generation, so almost all the wealth is guaranteed to be gone between the second and the third generation. Now, on the flip side of this, most millionaires, or I think over 80% of millionaires, are self-made. So what this is telling you is that when people inherit money, what usually happens, and the statistics show this, what usually happens is that they squander this money and they spend it on stupid things and they lose the wealth, and when people actually work for their money, that's when they're able to actually maintain that wealth and that status. So this great transfer of wealth that is about to happen is going to make these people rich temporarily, and you will be in the position of a lifetime to benefit. Now, there are a few things that you need to know, and there are a few rules I think that you need to follow if you want to be wealthy, if you want to become successful during this massive wealth transfer, since it's more about habits and psychology, because we just talked about how everybody who inherits money and is bad with managing money usually loses it in a short period of time. So no matter how much they inherit, they tend to lose it all very quickly. Now, this is also important even if you're already making a lot of money, because again, 40% of Americans, or more than 40% of Americans making over $100,000 per year, are living paycheck to paycheck. And you'd think that $100,000 a year is a good enough salary for someone to survive on, but yet these people are still living paycheck to paycheck with earning $100,000 per year. So let's talk about some basic financial rules that you need to be following so that you can take advantage of this great wealth transfer. And also, if you do end up getting some of this money, this will help you to retain some or most of this wealth, whether it's by inheritance or it's by you positioning yourself to take advantage by becoming an entrepreneur or investor. And here's some things that you should be doing right now to have your finances in order and also your mindset right. Now, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but this is what the wealthy do, and this is why you should be following their steps. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to have your emergency fund. Now, I know this is super basic, but we've seen the reports that nearly 50% of people cannot afford a $1,000 emergency, and they have to go into debt. So the first thing that you want to do is build up your emergency fund, and it needs to be at least 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. Now, the emergency fund is very important, and you don't want to start investing, you don't want to start a business, you don't want to do anything else before you have this emergency fund, because is if you were to, let's say, start investing your money into index funds or real estate, and you had a $1,000 emergency and you didn't have an emergency fund, then what would happen is you'd have to sell your investments, and you'd have to sell them at whatever they were valued at that point in time. So if the stock market was down, like right now at the point of making this video, then you may lose a lot of money, or a lot more than you would have to, and this is why you should always have an emergency fund. Now, the second thing that you want to do is to get rid of all high interest debt. If you have a car loan, credit card bills, or any of this stuff paid off, or start working towards paying all this debt off. Now, the third thing that you want to do is you want to start to take advantage of tax-free accounts, and this could be like a Roth IRA where you invest and you can put the maximum every single year, and at the end of this investment you can take the entire sum invested plus whatever returns you got from those investments, and all that money is going to be tax-free. And again, this is a great way to build wealth, because if you were to invest in a Roth IRA and you were able to get 10% per year, which is just about average, all you had to do was start with $1,000 and invest $1,000 every single month. At the end of around 30 years, you'd have over $2 million, and this would be all tax-free money. Now, if you're looking for a place to invest, check out M1 Finance. The link is down below. You can get $50 for free. But the next thing that you can do to invest is to invest into crypto, as the potential gain sometimes far outweigh any other investments. Now, usually it's a short-term gain, and the thing is, you can invest small amounts of money across multiple cryptocurrencies, and then even if you lose out on some or most, all you really need is one good crypto to skyrocket, and you can actually make a lot of money in the short term. Now, if you're looking for a place to invest in crypto, you can download the Voyager app. The link is down below. You also get some free Bitcoin. But if you're looking for a more longer term investing strategy, then stocks or ETFs are good. And then the next thing that you should be doing is looking at investing into real estate. Now, real estate is one of those really good investments because you get cash flow from the rent or income from the property, and also capital gains because the property will increase in value over time. Real estate, however, is the hardest to get into. The barrier to entry is much higher, and because of this, I think you should get your emergency fund together first. Then secondly, you want to pay off all bad debts. Then thirdly, you want to start investing into other things, and that way you can actually build up some cash to a point where you can then take that cash and start investing it into real estate. Now, finally, the last thing that you want to do is you want to start a business. And remember, we discovered that a great deal of millionaires or wealthy people are actually self-made. So you want to think about starting a business, something that millennials will like or millennials will actually spend their money on. And this will prepare you to take advantage of this massive wealth transfer, because millennials are going to be spending money just about everywhere. And because they never actually worked very hard for this money and they're really bad with finances, they're going to be giving this money away very easily. So without making this video too long, this is how you can actually benefit from the coming great wealth transfer. And comment down below, let me know what you think, what you'll be doing as well. And if you guys ever want to talk to me one-on-one, you can message me on Instagram. The link is down below in the description. And with that said, I'll see you guys very soon in the next one.